What's up, y'all? Hopefully the sound is better now. Hopefully the video is lagging a little bit less. I am officially hardlined into my router now via Ethernet cable, which is very exciting. Thank you very much to Molly. You are the best. I've got wires literally running across my sitting room right now, but what you gonna do? Trying to make it work. Hello, first viewer. How's it going? Hope you're a fifth grader, because working on the fifth grade book now, Pictures of Hollis Woods. As promised, chapter 1, I am going to be reading the entirety of this book with you guys, unlike the other two books for my sixth graders, because one, they can read on their own. They will be okay. And two, there are some words in their books that I'm not comfortable saying online. Brownacre 145, I don't have the book. Not sure which one of my students you are, but if you are not one of my fifth graders, then you probably don't need the book. And if you were absent, then you definitely wouldn't have the book. But again, this is not a requirement for my class at all at this point. We are not making anybody do any work during the time that we're off at the moment. The state has actually said we can't do that. So if you got packets on Friday from any of your teachers, regardless of what grade you're in, K through 8, the district is not having us make you do any work. I'm still posting my videos just for the people who want to read the book together and want to do this discussion together and just want to kind of stay connected to the class while we're all doing our social distancing. Remember, 6 feet. It's good for you. As always, anything about school is going to come directly from the district. Oh, hey, I'm not going to say your name. Hi, I do miss you too. And I know you don't have the book because you were out on Friday. Again, that's okay. You can listen along with the story. It's really, really good. We will probably read this in class. And for the people who listen to it online for the next 10 days, they'll, I guess, have a slight advantage, but not really, because we're not going to really be doing a lot of the work. But any questions and comments that you post on the video, I will discuss in tomorrow's video before I start reading with you guys. So when last we left off, I asked you to consider some things about the introduction, about who the Reagans are, about why Hollis would be putting an X through the picture she sees of their house and them, and also herself, what that might mean, why she is in the situation maybe that she's in. So we're going to go ahead into chapter 1 now. That's page 4 in the book if you're reading along. And remember, again, it's not required, but if you want to, cool. And as always, any information from the school district will come directly from the school district itself, not from me, not from any of your other teachers. You want to go to the York City School District's website or follow them on Facebook, because they do have a Facebook page and presence, and they are updating that constantly with everything we get from the state, from the county, from within the district, as far as closing and as far as any instructions for you guys. Remember that meals are available to you, breakfast and lunch, through a couple of different schools. I know Good is one of them, Ferguson, and I believe the high school is the other. But again, check their Facebook and check the York City School District page for all of that information. That should be your go-to source, okay? Sweet. I miss you guys so much. It's only Tuesday, and I'm like, where are my children? I miss my children. I know it's only 2 days, Michaela. I know. I get that. I feel you hard, but I still miss you guys. So with that said, page 4, here we go. The house was falling apart. I could see that from the car window, but it didn't bother me. After a while, the houses ran together, 4 now. No, 5. There was the greenhouse where the door didn't quite close. The wind blew in and up the stairs, rattling the window panes. The White House, crumbs on the table, kids fighting over a bag of Wonder Bread. The Yellow House, sooty, a long-haired woman with braids, no rugs on the stairs, the loud sound of feet going up and down. Ah, and the house in branches, Stephen's house. But that house was different. I'd never forget that one. Don't think about it, Stephen said in my head. I did that a lot. I pretended Stephen was right there next to me when I knew he was miles away in upstate New York. I wondered if he ever said to himself, "What is Hollis Woods doing right this minute?" And did he put my words in his head? The driver turned off the motor. For a moment, we looked out at the trees, the leaves with just a tinge of red this October afternoon. "We're here, Hollis," she said, a woman in sweats, a mustard stain on the front from the hot dogs we had eaten on the side of the road. Those hot dogs were a mean lump in the middle of my stomach, sloshing around with a Mountain Dew. She tried to talk all the way, but I hadn't answered. There's my eldest making noise. Shh, reading. She tried to talk all the way, but I hadn't answered. I slumped in my seat, feet up on the glove compartment, wearing an A&S baseball hat with the brim yanked low over my forehead. If someone looks into your eyes, I read in a book one time, he'll see right into your soul. I didn't want anyone to see into my soul. I knew she was dying to tell me to get my sneakers off her dashboard, but she didn't. She was waiting to deliver her speech. I could hear her getting ready for it with a puff of breath. "This can be a new start, Hollis, a new place." She licked her finger and scratched at the mustard stain. "No one knows you. You can be different. You can be good. Know what I mean?" Maybe she gave that speech to every foster kid in every driveway. She dumped them off like the UPS guy dumping off packages on a busy day, but I didn't think so. I had looked into her eyes once, just the quickest look, and I had seen that she felt sorry for me, that she didn't know what to do with me. Too bad for you, mustard woman. I hummed a little of "The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out." "She was an art teacher," the mustard woman said, pointing to the house, "retired now. I've never met her, but everyone at the agency says she's wonderful with kids." Her voice trailed off, but I knew she had meant to say, "kids like you." I walked my feet up the dashboard so my knees came close to my chin. "No one's been here with her for a while, but Emmy said it would be a good place for you." Emmy, the agency hotshot. She had probably said, "What have we got to lose?" "A good place for an artist like you, Hollis," the mustard woman said. "Mr. Reagan," I drew in my breath. "The old man." I closed my eyes as if I were ready to doze off. "He wanted you to have a chance to work at your drawings. He said it would be a crime if you didn't." I tried to yawn, but then the front door opened, and a woman came out on the porch with a mangy orange cat one step behind her. I didn't bother to give them more than a glance. What did I care what the woman looked like? But next to me, the mustard woman took a deep breath. I cut my eyes in the direction of the house. I was good at that, seeing everything without turning my head, without looking up, without blinking. I did blink then. Of course I did. Anyone getting a first look at Josie Cahill would do the same. It wasn't just that she was movie star beautiful, or that she was wearing a blue dress made of filmy stuff that floated around her and rings on 8 of her fingers. It was this. She had a knife in one hand. She held it in front of her so it caught the glint of late afternoon sunshine and became a silvery light itself. Are you seriously asking if you can use the restroom? Because, yes, you don't have to ask. You're at home. Shoo shoo. Go do you. You can always pause and catch up later. It's all good. "Lordy," the mustard woman breathed. I sat straight up, wondering if I should open the car door and run or reach out to push the button down, locking myself in. The knife woman came close enough for me to see that the movie star face had dozens of tiny crisscross lines on its cheeks and across its forehead. Please be very careful you don't pull on that cord. It will send the whole works crashing down, and that would be bad.
Why?
Because if you break my computer, I have no way to talk to my children's other than you and your brother, and that's too much for me, just the two of you. I need the rest of my kids too.
Are you almost done?
No, I got a few more pages. Okay, watch out for the cord. Watch out for the cord. Go under. Go under. Go under. Go. 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 Outside. Go play. Shoot. Be gone. My youngest. But then she smiled, and the lines around her mouth rearranged themselves. She leaned forward and put one hand on the car window. "Hollis," she said. "Are you here then?" I couldn't take my eyes off her. I could feel a pencil in my hand, moving across the paper, drawing her face, her eyes, the knife. I reached over the seat, grabbed my backpack, and was out the door, slamming it behind me. On the other side of the car, the mustard woman was out too. "Tea?" the movie star asked the mustard woman, as if she were reading her grocery list. "Coffee? Lemonade? Orange juice?" The mustard woman shook her head. She was still thinking about the knife. "I just want to get Hollis settled," she said uneasily. "I'm settled," I said. We all stood there for another few minutes, the mustard woman trying to fill the space around us with talk. Then, at last, she opened the car door again and was gone. Want to call me Josie? The movie star rubbed her forehead absently with the knife handle. If you want to do the Cahill part, you say it kale. You know, like the vegetable. So I've been saying it wrong. Whoops. She jerked her head toward the cat. That's Henry. He's a little irritable sometimes. I have one of those too. He's sitting over here. You can't see him. I followed her up the path and around to the back of the house. Henry came too, reaching out to stab my leg with one irritable claw. Josie looked back over her shoulder. Hungry? I shook my head. The hot dogs were just settling in. Drop your things, she said, waving the knife. We'll get them later. In back of the house was a different world. A garden on the edge of the woods. Woods so small I could see around them to houses on the next street. I've lived here, Josie raised one eyebrow, since they invented the spoon. Who did that anyway? I asked, trying her out. Her other eyebrow shot up. The knife and fork people. Who else? I could feel a laugh coming as she waved her hand. This is my place. Carved tree branches were stuck in the dirt in front of the woods, some of them thicker than my arm, others almost pencil thin. All of them had faces, and bits of grass or wreaths of flowers circled their wooden heads. I touched this one and that, using 2 fingers, the ones I used to shadow in one of my own drawings. One of the figures had a filmy scarf around its neck and held a bird's nest in its bent arms. You? I asked. She patted the scarf and turned to me, head tilted. I pulled my hat down over my eyes and stared at her figures. She really was an artist. I'll make one of you, Josie Cale said. We'll have to find the right piece of wood. I think there's one in the back. The shape of the head there is there already. The nose sharp and the eyes. She stopped. But only if you stay. It will take weeks for me to do. Months, maybe. I tried to think of what to say. I never stayed anywhere for long before I ran. One morning I'd wake up and I've had enough. I'd grab my backpack and go. I'd hang out in the city, see a couple of movies, or if the weather was nice, I'd head over to Jones Beach and sleep under the boardwalk. Sometimes it took them days to find me, but they never sent me back to the same place. The people in their houses had probably had enough of me too. Josie waited for me to answer. I raised one shoulder. Not sure. Henry and I will treat you like our best company for as long as you stay, she said. Henry crouched at the top of the path, eyes slitted, tail switching at me. I'm glad he's not a tiger, I said, feeling that laughter again. Josie's eyes danced. Maybe we'll go back and cut that piece of wood anyway. A table leaned against the back of the house, an old redwood table with tools, a drill, an axe, and knives sharp enough to split hairs. I reached for the axe, then followed Josie Cale into the woods, and in my head I told Stephen, I may just stay for a while. What do you think of that? And this leaves me with more questions than answers because I was wondering about the Reagans. I have so little information about them to go on now because we haven't really touched upon them at all, other than Stephen. She carries Stephen's voice around with her. Why? How was he important to her? What did he mean? And she doesn't stay in any place for very long. Is she orphaned? Was she abandoned? Why does she feel like she has to run away? What does she mean when she says, they get tired of me too, and they never send me back to the same place? These are all things that are whirring around in my head as I'm reading, and I'm hoping some of them are going on for you too. These kinds of questions are part of that metacognitive process that we talk about in class, where you try to piece together what's going on in the story, and it really does help you understand better. So make sure when you're reading to yourself, even if it's something other than Hollis Woods, because this is a really good book, and if you want to read ahead, I'm not going to blame you. But anything that you read, make sure you're guessing ahead, okay? Make sure you're thinking about what you've read, summarize it to yourself as you go on. Every time you encounter a character, think about what you now know about them. I'm really interested in Josie Cahill. I really want to know a lot more about her. I love artistic people. I think they're fantastic and fascinating. And the fact that she carves wood to look like people, the description was fantastic. What her backyard must look like with all of those sticks sticking out of the ground, all different shapes and sizes, that must be really cool. I really want to see that. So tomorrow, definitely a lot earlier than this, and hopefully this live stream isn't too jumpy and the audio's not jumping past the picture. Tomorrow I'll be doing this around 1 o'clock instead, like I said I was going to do yesterday. I'm sorry I was late, but I had to go get this fancy blue cord that you can't see. And so you can see him before I sign off. This is my Henry, who is not a Henry. He is a George. Hi, George. Say hello to the children. He is an enormous gato. He's literally like 4 times bigger than my head. He's almost 20 pounds of gato. He's very fat. George Washington the Fat is what we call him. I miss you guys a lot, and I will see you again tomorrow. Remember, if you are 6th grade and you are reading Roll of Thunder, you need to finish chapter 2 on your own because I'm not reading that one aloud for you. I will jump in with chapter 3 tomorrow at 10. And then if you are reading Blackbird Pond, I will be jumping in with that at 11. And then I will be back here at 1 for Hollis Woods with my 5th graders. I miss you guys. You guys are fantastic. And I will see you guys when we get back, whenever that may be. Bye.